Dear Diary.
Oh.
I promised to start the stream like that.
Yeah.
Today I'm sitting here with Lasse, art director of Trailmakers.
Hello.
Huge guest to have on the stream. And it's a bit of a different one today because we're not going to do a build challenge, but we are just going to mess around a bit in Trailmakers. And while we do that, also answer some of the questions that you have asked in the Dev Diary Discord channel, and also take some questions from the chat. So I don't know if we should just get right into Trailmakers.
Yes, let's do that. What?
Whoa, and I'll let
the transition is
yeah.
and the hat. Look at the hat.
The hat. The transition. It's high production quality.
Yeah.
And I will just let Lasse mess around a bit, and I will be controlling the flow of the conversation like a Conan O'Brien of game development.
He's the Conan O'Brien plays games, right?
That's how I see myself.
Yeah.
So the first question that we picked up from Discord is from Yeetify, who says, "Do you think that more maps would be feasible?"
Yes. Next question. No, of course. More maps are feasible, and we will be focusing on making more maps. It's a brilliant way of expanding Trailmakers, and we always consider the game to be a game where you travel through maps, and so the experience is what can you build and where can you travel. So that's kind of the two sides of it. So more maps, definitely, I think we are focusing on.
More maps is the conclusion there.
Yeah.
Then Arthur Gamer 03 asks, "Hello there." That's the first question.
Hello.
I would love to know more about the process of creating new blocks. How do you guys get to the shape, size, attachments, and finally, how do you balance the block functions?
Yes. There's a lot of conversation going on every time we make a new block. Some blocks are fall out of the sky and are just obvious, and others have a very, very long discussion phase before we start even attempting to do it. The thing is, with a game like this, once we have put a block in, we can never get rid of it. And I'm not going to say which ones we regret having done, but there are definitely a few. So
can I know?
No.
No one.
No, you can only know if you were there when it happened.
God damn it.
No, but we make a block. There's some of the basic blocks like this one is just so easy, whereas some of the ones that have functionality come the suspension, for example, was clearly something that we could see out of the community, that people just fought a lot with trying to place this wonky thing into the contraption. So it was just an obvious thing to do. Whereas others are more inventions, like the famous dispenser blocks that are just a crazy idea that sort of made sense at some point and just expanded the game in a cool way. So the process is a lot of discussion, then we start doing some prototypes of what they can do, and then we get some concept art done, and then we produce it. And then if it is a dumb block that just fills up a piece of space, then that's it. But if it has functionality, then there's code going into trying to make it as function as good as possible. And then there's also some performance considerations and all that stuff that we need to take care of before we can actually ship it.
What was the most difficult block to make? Which block caused you the most trouble in development?
That's a good question. I think the wheels actually are the hardest ones, because there's more going into making a wheel than you'd ever imagine. The wheel is a wheel, but it's also a wheel versus the contact on the ground. So you have this wheel, which is the first one we made, is just it does everything, and it has to have traction more or less everywhere. But it also has to have a certain type of traction going uphill on a certain surface. So it's there are curves that control how this wheel reacts to a certain surface going forward and going sideways. So when you slip, and there are a lot of values going in. And that also goes back into creating worlds, because it actually puts constraints on how many surfaces we can make. So there's just making a new surface means that you also have to figure out how will all these wheels react to each surface. So it's a really big decision to make a new wheel because it has to react really well. And one of the things we're really proud of in Trailmakers is that it is possible to make something that drives really well. But that's because we spend so much time setting up the wheels. I know there's more to be done on them, but it's hard. And also there's something like, we want a big truck wheel like this to be acceleration and all stuff like that goes into the wheel logic as well. So it's harder to accelerate really fast with big wheels and stuff like that. So there's, so wheels definitely are the hardest ones to make.
So like thousands of years ago, humans invented wheels, and then when game development came along,
we had to
sort of had to invent it again.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
I'm not playing here. Can I? You mentioned we have some builds.
Oh yeah, these are just things people send over for us to mess around with.
Okay.
That's a big one. That's a block.
This is a 1x1, right?
This
is the joke to end all jokes.
Yeah.
Were there any questions about the 1x1, or are they just too tired of?
No, I think they gave up on that, but I think someone made this maybe to tickle you a little bit.
Yeah.
Here you get to play. Our community can make a 1x1x1 block. Why can't you?
Well,
Next question comes from Slime Scammer. That's a cool name. What is the scope of this update? Is a new map possible, or will the update be focused more towards new blocks and quality of life improvements?
It will be focused on both. We will make a new map. I said it.
Oh God, he said
There's gonna be a new map.
Clip it.
But there will also be quality of life improvements. We have some very big and important things that we want to fix, and also to make the game updatable in the future. So there are some of them that will be happening behind the scenes, and people are gonna go, "What the hell?" Sorry for cursing online.
It's okay, I do it all the time.
Really?
I've said much worse things on stream.
Great. So, some of it is going to be behind the scenes, but you're going to be feeling all the flow, the speed we will be able to update the game with afterwards. So,
Metalburger says in chat, suggestion, make a 1x1 block that size.
Yes.
So that could be a fun troll.
I love that idea.
So here you got the 1x1x1 block. It's enormous.
It floats. I just saw that it had stuff in it. Do we have a boat in there?
Maybe we do. I can skip further to the next question while you look for a boat.
Yes. No boats. Oh, we're gonna put a boat in.
Hello Yedify and hello Ishtar Commander.
What?
Jakarta. Yes, he said something about a new map.
This is a floating boat.
Well, leave it there. Mr. Smith asked, how hard would it be / is it possible? Oh, we got a follow there. Woohoo! Mixie, thank you for the follow. Mr. Smith asked, how hard would it be to implement a PSI / bar setting for tires?
That's going to be really hard. Coming back to the whole issue with wheels and tires. So there's because we've set the wheels up in such an intricate way, they're all really customly set up. So changing those numbers would change the experience dramatically, and it would be really hard. Not only for us to set it up in a way that made sense, but also for people to leave it in a place that makes it a good experience. And that's always the balance we have to hit. It has to be a good experience for the end users, and also people who are not experts. They need to be able to open the game and mess around with stuff without breaking it. And so yeah, it would be quite hard. It's not impossible, of course, but it's not something we have in the plans currently.
Not in the plans. The PSI dreams are dead. I'm sorry to that one particular guy.
They're not dead. They're more like
They're more like in a coma.
They're more like in a coma. It's not dead.
It's
Definitely not. We can. Does it really float? Does it? Are you supposed to be?
I mean,
no. There we go. No.
It doesn't look very floaty. Hello, Super Trek. What a name. Cool name. All right. Psychonaut asks, my question to the devs was about how they came to the creation of this game and where they started, the steps taken to begin this project, and the obstacles that were passed in order to bring the game to life. And that is the right
wow.
guy.
Yes.
That is the right man to ask this question, I believe.
Yeah, I was at least there all along. So the game was born. Early version of the game was actually born inside a different company called Press Play. In back when Press Play was a Microsoft studio, 2015. There was like a talk about what we should do next, and we made a prototype of a game that looked a lot like Trailmakers. And when Microsoft cut down on their external studios, we were allowed to keep some of the work we'd done, and we went on to found Flashbulb. And Trailmakers was at the heart of that. The idea of making a building game was actually what we founded the company for. And then we started on Trailmakers in 2016, got some small funding, and then started off. And we had like, I think it was 2 years of development before we launched an early access campaign. Just to say something about the inspiration, I think we saw games like Siege come out, and we thought that was really interesting, the way they'd done that. We'd also made some vehicle building games before, just very small versions of them. Flash games back when that was a thing. So it was the right type of game for us. And then, 2018, we launched the early access version of Trailmakers, and it's been just a super fun ride since then. There wasn't like a lot of other questions in the.
I think it was like maybe like obstacles, and I think we
obstacles. I mean, making a game that is alive is an obstacle in itself. It's super cool to see people play around with it, but it's also, you feel the pressure to get stuff out, because there are people who really love to have, oh man, look at this, to see new things come into the game and stuff like that. And we also want to make new things, but we have the game out on several platforms, and there's so many considerations to do every time we do something. So there's that obstacle. There's also now we've sort of made the game and sold it. We need to sell more in order to keep the studio going, and there are a lot of things that goes into running a company like this.
That's also the first time I think I'm really hearing the story. So that's interesting stuff to know.
Yeah.
How this game came to life.
It came to life in somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Didn't we all?
Yeah, exactly.
Metalburger says, Johannes, you gotta read the description. It's Lasse playing right now, but this is made by Metalburger.
I pressed the space bar.
And I think you want
the description. Oh man, sorry. I'm really not used to this. Sorry for the description. Okay. Oh, wow.
Okay,
that's a long one.
Yeah, that's a bit of a long one. I thought it was maybe just a funny little joke.
It is native to the Metalburg swamps. It's a multicolored, peaceful, dopey, yet smart animal, and some colonies are kept in captivity, so zoologists can study their complex social structure, often giving them simple tasks to do. We can't read all this. No. It's too long.
But he always does lore for all.
I love it. I love it.
Also in the,
and I promise I'll read it once we're done with the stream.
In the build challenge.
But it doesn't do more than this, right? It's like it opens and closes. There's no
what more do you want?
Maybe it could jump or something.
Maybe it could.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah. Wind.
It's getting a bit hot in here.
It's getting hot in here.
Yeah. Oh god. I did not think this through. All right. On to the next question. Blockmanthahamter. Statement on wheel sinking. The thin wheels are the only proper working wheels when it comes to small wheels, but can barely be used for any vehicle because of the very little asphalt we have on maps. Why not add strength to every wheel we currently have? It's another wheel question.
It is, and it's. I told you, it's the hardest thing to do. So. I'm just. It's hard to just look at these things and answer questions.
I get it, man. But we're
What
not
the
in a
hell?
rush, man. Take your time.
Okay, so. Wow. I'm not sure I know how this works.
It looks like it's not supposed to. It's supposed to be horizontal. But
Yeah, but how do I get it horizontal?
maybe it's not supposed to be. Maybe it's just supposed
it's just
to go
supposed to
up.
go to space. Oh, it falls down now, doesn't it? No, that's it. Okay, so wheels, sinking wheels. We are, just to say the first thing first, we are addressing it. We are trying to come up with a solution. It is not easy. It is. There's so many reasons why it's not easy, but it comes down to the whole handling and feeling like you're driving something cool. But we are looking into it. We're trying to make it better, and it's gonna be a complicated fix. But we're gonna try and see if we can push the wheels up. We're gonna try and push them out, and we're gonna make sure that most wheels gonna look like they sit on top of the ground, because we also have the same feeling about them as you guys.
So now what you've learned is, from now on, if you have any questions about wheels, the answer is because wheels are really, really difficult to deal
They
with.
are, but they're also really cool.
They are
I'm not like
really
they
cool,
work
yeah.
really well. You can actually build a race car that does what you'd expect. Look at this. I love it.
Some can, I can. That's like a ballerina rocket ship.
It is a ballerina rocket ship.
I love it. Okay, here's a fun one. From the chat, I was also thinking maybe the trailer video thing, the one that you showed to your friends to convince them to get it, could be updated because it's on the older side. Yeah. That's a good idea. Maybe
Maybe we should do that.
maybe we should, maybe we should make that right now.
How about we do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be sick.
That would be insane.
All right.
It's a great idea.
Keep an eye out for that. I swear to God. Yeah, nothing. Let's move on.
Yes.
To Unknown Era, who asks, what's your stance on guided missiles and/or torpedoes?
We like the idea. People build stuff. That's also cool, and it's cool that some things are left to people to build. But we've talked about it a lot, especially the torpedoes. There are some issues around the like overpoweredness of torpedoes, or especially the heat-seeking missiles and stuff like that, because they're gonna be just like, why would you ever shoot with anything else? So there's that, and there's also some performance issues around having 2,000, and we can see people have a tendency to try and see how many things they can stuff into the game at once. And stuff that is intelligent is, per definition, just expensive. So
That's why my salary is so low.
so that's the reason why we just don't just do it. But it's definitely something we're thinking about, especially the torpedoes have been part of our discussions many times. So we will not rule it out, but it's not in like immediate plans.
Cool. Then we got a question from the chat. That's one Nuffy asking, are there any plans to update Dethrone Island?
Oh, there's been plans for killing it a few times because nobody showed up in them. Not currently, but I'm not sure if the question is, should we update it like from a functionality perspective, or from a like a landscape thing. They're not in the current plans. I think we are definitely seeing how well combat is working since we've added some features to that, so we're gonna double down on that. And Dethrone is kind of something that we released with the first early access release, so it is worn, and it sort of either needs to be updated or moved out. So one of those two things.
All right. Will this update... Oh, sorry, this one comes from Daystro, who asks, will this update only be community feature ideas, or will you, the devs, be adding your own ideas as well?
That's gonna be a mixture. But it is gonna be. We are gonna listen a lot to the community. That's the whole point of this. So, but of course, there are some obvious things, especially all the stuff that I talked about before with the behind-the-scene things. They're gonna be. Nobody will ever even know we did it. So, a lot of that is gonna come from ourselves. And also there are stuff that just pops up when you work on games that we will add to it, but it's primarily going to be listening to the community.
I think it's also worth saying that even the things that we sort of took initiative to do ourselves are also things that has been asked for.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it is kind of like almost 100% community. Even though it's not all from suggestions.
I think, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right.
What
is in chat? Anything? Ben O'Haron asked. It's already been answered. I don't know if it's been asked yet, but will there be a new map? Wow, you had to be there for that.
Yeah.
We don't know. But Lasse said something interesting about that.
Yeah.
He might have said yes, but
Maybe.
I'm gonna say more than that.
No.
Next question comes from the Grim Reaper, asking, do you plan to make the RC glitch an official feature, or do you guys plan to get rid of it? I'm also just here to say hi to the devs.
It's a tricky one. We kind of like the fact that it's there. It's hard to make it real, so no, there's no plans to do. Yeah, it's right now it works for those who need it. That's how I feel about it right now. But we might add a feature like that. There's generally a few things around being able to operate things from the outside that would be fun to do, like buttons and stuff. We have kind of the distance sensor that can do some of it, kind of. But we could add some stuff that would allow people to make more machines and have more interaction. But none of this is in the plans. It's just me rambling. It's not going to be taken out anytime soon. Yeah, that's the short answer.
This one is from the chat, it's from Yedify. Will you ever try to give us the early access map back from the tiny snippets of it? What?
The early access map?
Was there a map? I don't know my Trailmakers.
Oh, that one!
I don't know my Trailmakers history.
That's not even the early access map. That's like the alpha map, or what? There are two maps. There's an alpha map, which was way before we even launched anything. That was pretty old. Then no, that's dead.
No, it's okay to just say.
The early access map is actually where the rally world is taking place, so that's kind of more within reach. So we put the rally inside the map and just use the locations. But currently, there are a few ways you can like sneak out of the races and take a tour of the map. So that's a challenge for you. But we talked about making it accessible. It's not gonna be what it was because because it's the functionality is ripped out. Doesn't exist anymore. So you're not gonna get it back in the state it was, but the location is alive.
All right. Cool. That's something I've learned as well. I gotta go. I don't think I've done too much RC or rallying. Well, I think I should try it out.
Fire. What's Q? Okay.
What's this little plane you got here?
It's a little plane with fire and
something out of Mad Max.
But it's really hard to get it to fly. Way to go. Oh, it's like,
look at you.
Whoa. The flaps.
You zoom in on it a little bit. I want to see how this bad boy looks.
But I'm like, what does Q do?
Apparently nothing.
Right? But it says there.
Yeah. If I've learned anything from Build Challenge, it's that
looks cool with the fire.
Doesn't always do anything, but yeah,
that's a really bonfire cool. In the bottom of it.
But it is like a Mad Max kind of vibe. Like just a very raw, brutal machine.
Yeah.
Q is the flap wings. We have the creator in chat So
What?
Edify, he says Q is flap wings.
It's flaps. Okay, but I can't see them move when I click.
Anyway, moving on to a question here from Simply Liu Sousa 19. It's wilder and wilder.
Yeah.
Why hasn't the max range on distance sensors been increased yet? Is there something in the code that doesn't allow it?
Yes. There's something about controller configuration that makes it just annoying to do. But also there's performance considerations going into that. It's like, as talked about earlier, people add a lot of things and then they spawn a server and 8 people add a lot of things, and then there are some performance considerations going into stuff like that. So yeah, that's that. Otherwise, it's not something I've thought about a lot.
Well, Simply Liu 19 has thought about it.
Yes, and I understand why. But there is something in the code that doesn't allow it. But it's not like it's impossible. It's just we have to really be careful with stuff like that. But it's duly noted that there's a wish to increase it.
There's a small
and we will be looking into the whole controller setting of the values, because it's kind of stupid that you can't do the lower decimals and stuff like that. So we should also give that some attention.
Asi asks in the chat, will we get rally mode as a sandbox map mode?
That's exactly the same question as before. It's the early access map.
Oh, it's the same map?
Yes. Maybe. It's not not in the plans, but yeah, we might. There's the thing is, when we made Rally, we just kind of tore things apart and left it untidy outside of where you were looking. So it would require some tidying up, and maybe also adding stuff to where we've just left it completely empty. So, but yes, that would be cool.
An even cooler thing here is this guy. Next guy's gamer name. It's GamerCat27. That is cool. And GamerCat27 is asking, why isn't there a custom color marker?
Yeah.
Thank you, Johan Muller69, for following.
Johan Muller? Custom color. We talked about that. Sometimes there's some art in the limitation of having to deal, and that's what Trailmakers is all about. There's nothing stopping us from making a game where you could just create your own blocks and draw your own spaceships and stuff like that. That's not what this game is all about. This is a block building game where you can pick your blocks and try to make things look as cool as possible. That's also down to why we don't have a 1x1 block. It's a choice. Yes. It's the art of limitations, and it's for people who enjoy that to play this game.
For people who enjoy a challenge.
Yes. We might add more colors though. That's definitely an option. But again, once you've sort of introduced something, it's hard to take it out again. So we have to do it carefully.
All right. Here's a fun one from Johan Muller69, who just followed. He asked, will there ever be Trailmakers for mobile?
Hopefully. But it's like the technology needs to catch up, and yeah. So yeah, that would be awesome. It's not in the works, but we would love to do it. There's just it is a very performance-heavy game, so it's hard, but would love to make it.
We would love for it to be there, but we are limited by the technology.
This.
Oh, you can spin around in that.
And then I have, what's this? Oh, that's the other way. Okay. Woo. Big chicken, come here.
That is an extremely small tank.
It's very small. Oh, look at it.
Level up. All right. Phoenix. Here's one I think I might actually be able to answer, because I included this question because it was a question that I have already answered in Discord, but I would also love to answer here so that people know.
Yeah.
That's how many checks does a suggestion need to be considered? And I would like to say, as we said out when we rolled out the announcement, that the suggestions thing is not a popularity contest. So because you suggest something and it gets a lot of votes, it doesn't mean it will necessarily make it into the game. Whereas a really good suggestions with not that many votes will have a chance of making it into. So it is not like 100% vote based. The votes are to get like an idea of what the community would like, and from there to sort of make a realistic analysis of whether or not it can actually be implemented. So you don't need to pass a certain threshold of checks
it's like
to be considered.
no.
I don't know if you have anything to add to that, because that's actually the questions we have from Dev Diary right now.
Cool.
Look at the chat. I don't know if people are saying something you want to look at.
There's spin-off for Dreamcast. When? 1997, I guess.
That would be interesting.
I just pulled this out, and it's like the most complicated thing ever. Look at it. It's like complexity through the roof.
Yeah. Oh man, you should be part of the build challenge one time.
Yeah, I'd love to.
We get a lots of 700 out of 700. Guys,
okay, gun up, gun down. That's not the complicated part. Number 1, nope, and it's 2. Okay, 0 for. Whoa. That's it.
Super Frick Chicken ask, are you accepting vehicle suggestion from the workshop to use in the video? I actually reached out on Discord before we started, and I told people that send me some fun wacky blueprints that we can play around with while answering questions. So these are people DM'd me Discord. If you want to get your creations in the next video, just DM me some wacky blueprints, and we'll include them in there. There are going to be a lot of these Dev Diaries, so you will have plenty of chances to get your silly little tanks and whatnot included.
Come back here!
And you can add guns and just see Lasse go absolutely mental at chickens.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't know what he has against them, but
they are they're really cruel to the younglings.
I guess there's a question for me then. Is there a law behind the chickens?
No law.
Can I make one?
Yeah, you can make a law. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Do that. Make a story.
Can it be official?
Yeah.
If I write law story,
you should do that.
Okay. Awesome.
Don't tell anyone though.
We're streaming right now.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah.
Half the office is probably watching this. Killing chickens is always fun.
That's it.
Well, this is your people.
This is my people.
Can we get more chickens next update?
Chickens are a little bit expensive too, but yeah, we could get something like the chickens. We should definitely make something more like chickens.
They're unevolved chirpos, someone says.
We have another one here. Trans-regional train. Oh,
we might as well just round off with that one.
Yeah.
We've been through.
Whoa!
This
whoa!
looks
Whoa!
very,
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
This looks very.
There's only 2 buttons. A and D, and then space. Boom. You get no choice.
It's very polished.
Okay, I'm gonna crash him or not? Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a hover train. Maglev. I went on the Maglev in Shanghai. That was.
You did?
Cool. Yeah. It's really fun.
I actually just watched a video of the Maglev the other day. It goes like 500 kilometers an hour.
Super cool. Here we go. Oh, it's the other way. Going back. Turn around.
I love how clean it looks. So polished. So it's like a train made of chrome with no windows.
But it doesn't handle jumps that well. Okay, go through. That's it. Oh.
Maybe you don't handle jumps.
Maybe I don't.
There's nothing actually wrong with the train.
No.
Nothing wrong
Just
with you.
me. Oh, the hover blocks, do they work? Is it just... No, it's not good, is it? They don't work on water.
Kind of work.
Kind of work. Where are we going with the train, man? So that's it for questions.
That's it for questions this time around.
Yeah.
We'll probably pull you in again to answer some more.
I'd love to.
One day.
It's a pleasure.
But this video is also going to be available on our YouTube.
Yeah, once we've edited out all the wrong answers, right?
Once we've edited out 90% of what Lasse said, because we're not actually allowed to say. No. Well, I can just on the finish line here say that we have one day. If you still want to get your turbo plushie, there is 1 day left.
What? Okay, I'm thinking about getting a few for my kids actually.
Yeah, 24 hours is what you have left to get it.
And then you can never get it again?
And then the turbos are gone
Forever?
Unless we decide in the future maybe to bring them back, but the plans are not to bring them back.
But they don't it's not an option to just open the store forever?
No.
Okay.
So if you want to
really have to be fast to get the turbos.
You want to make absolutely 100% sure to get it, go get it now.
Oh wow.
Because there's 24 hours left. Links in Discord, links in Twitter. I think that's it for today.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Lasse, for joining us.
And it was a pleasure.
Thank you to all of you for your questions. Keep them coming in Dev Diary in Discord. And
Jamie plush, that's a good idea.
oh yeah. I think you would do really, with glasses that detach with Velcro, so you can put them on and on. Yeah. Cool.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.
See you July 27th for the build challenge.
Bye.